Hello and welcome to this electrical update. So in this video I'm just going to give an update as it is of where I am with the electrics so far. So there is no videos prior to this because I decided to buy a new hard drive and transfer all of my footage over, and most of it was corrupted, and we're talking about terabytes of data here. So in this video I sound a bit depressed, and that is the reason why, but this is anyway, so this is an electrical update of where I'm at the moment. Hope you enjoy. Right, so the idea, this is the main heart of the electrics in here. So you've got your solar charge controller there, which also takes wind. It goes down to a little, sorry about the flickering, I think it's a certain light. Goes down to this green thing here, so that's where any excess charge goes and disperses through there, I think. I don't know. I think it's a pretty good one. The ones that I've seen don't come with that little green thing. It can take 1,000 watts of solar and 1,000 watts of wind. And we have the solar panels there on two buzz bars at the side. So I think I've got a 420, 430 watt solar panel, and there's a 100 watt solar panel that came with the boat that's connected as well. So those two are plugged in. I was getting like a reading during the day yesterday. I think it was 36 volts or something, and it wasn't that sunny yesterday, so it was getting a reading. I don't know what that is, what that means. I think that's 520 watt solar divided by the 36 watts gives you your amps coming through, I think. I don't know, I'm not sure. I'll need to wait until I get it all connected up to see what I'm using on the battery and what's going in and what this kind of displays. But I guess when it's all hooked up I will know. But I've had to order more cables, more bus bars, and more breakers and stuff like that, so I'm waiting for a few more bits to be delivered before I can complete this setup. I've sent an email yesterday to the people for this inverter because I've got that 3,000 watt inverter down there. It's hooked up at the moment, but I don't know what size wires they are, so they're the wires that actually came with it. It doesn't say what gauge they are on there, and they look smaller than my large ones I've got there. Those are, I think, they're 50 millimeters squared, so they take up to, I think it's 345 amps. This one looks smaller, but I think that's the same because I looked at the wires yesterday, the ends of them, and the copper in here looks denser and thicker, and the larger cables that I bought, the actual rubber around the outside is thicker and fatter than the rubber that's on these cables that they supplied with the inverter. So I think these are also those 50 millimeters squared copper wires, so I think they can also take the 345 volts, but I'm not sure just yet. I'm not using it just yet until I hear back from them from email. So I've hooked a 250 amp circuit breaker on there at the moment, but the problem is if these aren't the same gauge wire as the ones that I bought here, and it's the one lower, these wires potentially, if they are the ones smaller size than this, they can only take 200 amps. So if I've got a 250 amp breaker on there, these wires are going to melt and potentially cause a fire before this breaker switch breaks, and obviously I don't want that to happen, so I'm going to wait for them to get back to me, hopefully on the email, which they said they normally take 3 to 4 business days. But as I'm still waiting for some stuff to be delivered, then that's all fine. But I would have liked to hook the solar charge controller into the batteries, but again I can't do that because I'm waiting for cables to be delivered. And again with this, the solar charge controller did not tell me the maximum amps that it's going to be outputting, so I didn't know what size cables to buy to connect from the charge controller here to the batteries, because obviously I don't want ones that are too small, and there's nothing in the manual again that tells me about the maximum amperage that this is going to kick out. So what I have done is just bought some, I think it was 120 amp cables with like 110 amp breaker switch to go with it. So I'm going to try those, but just waiting for those to be delivered, so I have those on order. So at least that covers me. I've got a breaker that's going to break if it exceeds or coming close to exceeding the amperage of the wires. So that will kind of safeguard it if they're not the wrong size, but I think they should be well enough adequate size, because obviously the connectors underneath here are actually not that big. They would never fit a wire this size in there, so I'd imagine that the connectors would be built to fit the size of the wires which were appropriate for the amperage to come out. So I'm just kind of like assuming things based on basic assumptions. I have put my Victron charger in. I have been charging the batteries on that. So what I did the other day is I charged one battery, because this is really ideally you want to connect them when they're at the same charge. So I fully charged one battery, fully charged the other battery, and then I've connected them together now. So they're hooked up, ready to go. So I just need to put the Victron charger, either put the Victron charger into these and fully charge them again, just to top them up if they've discharged a little bit, or do the solar charge controller. I've still got my battery monitor to hook up, so I could do that if I read the instructions, see where I need to put it. But the thing is, the circuit, none of the circuit's connected at the moment, so I don't know if it's going to get, if I did connect it up, if it would even get a reading. So I think today what I wanted to do is this. So this is going to be the heart of my electric. So like I said, so that is just your solar Victron charger. So that's power in and charging over here, and then we've got the batteries hooked up to the main buzz bars here. So this is the heart. So we've got power in, power out, sweet. And then what I'm going to do is make this second cupboard here is going to be the bits and pieces cupboard, which is going to feed all of the electrics to the boat. So like all of the lighting, the bilge pumps, and all of the bits and pieces. So all of the small messy wiring will be in here. And all of the heart of the electrics and the big cables in here. That's the idea anyway, because I don't want loads of mess going on in here as well. So keep it two separate, and then I'll maybe put a 3-pin plug socket on the front here, and then like a panel switch with all the switches to turn stuff on and off there. So I will need to screw in another 2 bus bars, sorry about the light, another 2 bus bars into the back there, and that's the side of the boat. So I need to cut out another bit of wood and fiberglass it to the back there, which is what I'm going to be doing today. Thanks for watching. The next video will be the small tiny bit of fiberglassing for that electrical cupboard bit. I had done loads more fiberglassing, but I don't have any footage to show at the moment. I'm trying to recover it, so I just have that small little cupboard. But yeah, so that's the next video if you want to watch.